to ciLiving. I'm your host, Jaclyn Friedlander. The Wildlife Medical Clinic at the University of Illinois provides care and treatment to sick and injured wild animals. Joining me now with more information about the clinic is Sydney Oliveira. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the clinic.
Yeah, so the clinic, we see all sorts of native Illinois wildlife, so anything but bats and skunks and adult deer, and we do our best to rehab them and get them back out into the wild. So. And then aside from that, we also train vet students. They get hands-on experience. And then we also go out into the community and give education outreach programs. So we have one of our ambassador animals here with us today.
Well, and the community outreach that you do, like especially on shows like this, is super helpful because you had told us what to do if we maybe find an animal that seems like an abandoned baby or jumps out of the nest. And that happened to me. A rabbit jumped out of my flower pot while I was watering, and it was teeny tiny. And so I called Wildlife Medical Clinic. They told me exactly what to do, put it back in the nest, all of the things, and sure enough, Mom and Dad came back. So
awesome.
If you follow Sydney's advice, you can be a great steward for local animals.
Thank you.
Well, today, what do we have here?
So we have Basil, and he's an American toad. And so I'll pick him up so you might be able to see him a little bit better out on here.
Oh, look at that.
And so you might notice too, he's got a missing leg there. So I don't know if we can turn him around, you might be able to see. So that's actually how we got him in the clinic. So he was found in Meadowbrook Park, and his leg was basically stuck out backwards, broken, and had already healed. So they weren't able to surgically repair it. So they opted to amputate. And because of that, we weren't sure how well he would do in the wild. So we added him to our ambassador program.
Oh, wow. And here, are you able to turn him around? Because I wanted you to talk about these little things on the top of his head right
for sure.
there.
So they do have little poison glands on the top right here. And so it doesn't really affect humans a lot. It's very mild. However, if your dog or cat were to actually grab a toad like that, it could secrete that milky toxin, and it can make them salivate a lot and potentially vomit. Same for wildlife predators that are trying to eat toads. They can have that same effect. So that is one of the methods that they use to evade predation.
And so ultimately it's to sort of tell whatever's trying to eat it, I'm not delicious.
Yes.
Please let me go.
Yes, absolutely.
And what do these animals eat in the wild?
So these guys are insectivores. They eat a lot of different types of bugs, so they're really good at pest control. So they're nocturnal, so every night they're going out, they're eating beetles, spiders, flying bugs, all sorts of crickets, grasshoppers, basically anything they can catch that wanders by them. So.
And I saw him just do like a little blink thing, and I know that toads have a weird thing with blinking and eating. So what exactly is that?
So I don't know if we can get him to eat anything, but I can try real quick here. So they actually have really weak swallowing muscles, and so they actually use their eyeballs to help put that food down their throat. So they have a really sticky tongue. Oh, and I missed there, So they have a sticky tongue, and they'll grab that just like a frog will. We'll see if he'll do that if it's not moving, though. Oop, there he goes.
There he goes. Wow.
But when he did that, you might have seen like his eyes went down.
Closed really fast.
They're super fast. So you can see how they could eat all those bugs that are passing by. The bug doesn't even know what's coming. So
crazy. So ultimately, if you have these toads around, that's really a good thing for pest control at your house. And now I remember as a kid, I used to like to play with these because I didn't know any better. But my mom would always be like, stop touching the toads, you'll get warts. Is that true?
Nope, that is actually a myth. Yes, but you might get peed on if you pick up a toad. So that is one of the other ways that they avoid predation as well. So a lot of the times these guys only go to the bathroom like once or twice a week to once a month. It really depends on each individual toad and their metabolism. And so they can hold urine for quite a while. So then if a predator grabs a hold of them like that, they can urinate like that to get the predator to release them.
On command as a defense mechanism. And then how do they make other toads?
Yeah, so these guys, being an amphibian, that means one part of their life cycle is in the water, and they're aquatic. And so these guys actually, they'll go into the water, they make a trilling noise to call, they breed like that in the water, and then they lay like thousands of eggs in a little chain with like mucus around it, and you'll find those in the water.
And what is the survival rate if they lay all of those eggs? How many of those eggs actually
I'm not exactly sure how many exactly survive, but not 100%. It's probably less than 50% of them survive. And then that first year of life, most toads die within like the first year of life. So they have a very low survival rate after a year. So if they do make it to that year point, some of them can live to be like 3 to 5. They've had records of 10-year-old ones. And then in captivity, there's been, I think, one that was 30 years old, but I don't know if it was an American toad or one of the larger toad species. So.
And do they start off as tadpoles like frogs do, and then they eventually migrate mostly out of the water, except for you were sharing with me that sometimes when they're about to shed their skin, they'll soak in water. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so just like reptiles, these guys every couple weeks will shed that skin off, so it'll get a little bit dry, or there's kind of mixed reviews on why they do that, but I've heard sometimes they get different scents on them, so by shedding their skin too, that makes them a little more prone to like not having an odor to them, so predators can't find them as well.
Oh, interesting.
And then just also like reptiles, they continue to grow throughout their life. And so they'll shed that as they're growing. And then also if they have any injuries or anything like that, shedding helps kind of heal that as well.
Heal those
So
injuries.
it gives them that new protective layer of skin under there. But these guys, they'll actually shed their skin and then eat it. So it's very nutritious. They get vitamins from doing that. And then also then they're not leaving shed skin around so a predator doesn't find that and know there's a toad in the area as well.
That's
so a couple reasons
really
for that.
Smart.
Yeah.
I feel like we could learn so much about ourselves from animals, because they have to truly survive, whereas I feel like we've adapted to have all these we've built ourselves shelters that are impervious and things like that, where they don't necessarily have that, so they have to go and hide or things like that. And it seems like he was one of the lucky ones, because who knows how his leg got broken, and then he was lucky to be found and that the person knew to bring him to you so that you guys could take care of him. And now he's an ambassador for his species. Well, thank you so much for bringing him, and what a great example, I feel like, of so much of the great work that you do. So keep it up.
Yeah, thank you so much.